Imagine going through a traumatic experience that leads you to being declared clinically dead, only to wake up with vivid memories of a life that happened almost 3 millennia ago. It may sound implausible, but that is precisely what happened to a young girl from London, England, at the beginning of the 20th century. Every narrative worth telling has a starting point, and that is precisely where we shall begin. At the turn of the 20th century, Reuben and Caroline Eady were blessed with a beautiful daughter named Dorothy, whose radiant smile and playful energy brought joy to their lives. However, fate had a cruel twist in store for the family, as one day, while Dorothy was running down the staircase at their home, she slipped, tumbled down, and sustained severe injuries that left her life hanging in the balance. Following the unfortunate incident, a team of medical personnel promptly arrived at the scene and conducted an assessment, after which they declared her lifeless. Her parents, understandably overwhelmed with grief and sorrow, were left shattered as the officials transported their beloved little one's body out of the house. Tears streamed down their faces as they prayed for a miracle, hoping against hope that their little girl would regain consciousness. Just when they thought all was lost, their prayers were answered. Dorothy's eyes fluttered open, and she slowly sat up as if waking from a deep slumber. Her parents could hardly believe their eyes as they watched their daughter recover from her near-death experience in a matter of minutes. In less than an hour, she was up and playing with her toys, just like any other happy and healthy child. It was a moment of pure joy and relief for her parents, and one that they would never forget. However, Dorothy's parents soon discovered that she was not quite the same child who had fallen down the stairs. Something had changed within her, and as time went on, they realized that their daughter had become an almost entirely different person. The Eadys, who had rediscovered their love for life after the incident, decided to make the most of it by taking trips whenever they could. In 1908, they took their beloved daughter to the world-renowned British Museum. The museum is a treasure trove of fascinating exhibits, showcasing artifacts and artwork from cultures around the globe, spanning from the earliest days of human civilization to the present time. As they observed their daughter in the museum, Dorothy's parents found that she was particularly captivated by the ancient Egyptian civilization. She suddenly began to use words and phrases that her parents had never heard before. They watched in awe as she became fixated on her surroundings, staring at objects with a profound sense of curiosity. She then sat beside a glass-encased mummy. She gazed at the mummy for an extended period and attempted to kiss its feet in a gesture of reverence. Her parents were taken aback and quickly stopped her, unsure of what to make of her behavior. After spending some time in the museum, Dorothy's parents realized that it was time to leave. However, they noticed that her mood had changed, and she was no longer her usual happy self. They hoped that she would return to her normal self soon, but unfortunately that was not the case. Dorothy became increasingly sad, and almost seemed to be suffering from a form of depression. Her mother would often find her crying in bed, and when she asked her what was wrong, Dorothy would simply say, "I want to go home." As a young child, Dorothy developed a firm conviction that her true home was in Egypt, and longed to return there as soon as possible. Her fascination with Egypt accelerated at the age of 7 while reading Arthur Moore's Children's Encyclopedia. Upon coming across an illustration of the Temple of Sety I at Abydos, Dorothy was filled with excitement and rushed to show her father. She exclaimed, "This is my home. This is where I used to live. But why is it all crumbled and broken? And where is the garden?" The image had stirred something deep within her, evoking a sense of nostalgia and belonging. The Temple of Sety I at Abydos is a masterpiece of ancient Egyptian art and architecture. The temple's walls are adorned with an array of exquisite carvings that depict scenes from the pharaoh's life. The intricate reliefs provide invaluable insights into the religious beliefs, rituals, and customs of the ancient Egyptians. The temple's most notable features include the intricate carvings depicting the myth of Osiris, offering scenes to the gods and the pharaoh's rituals. The temple, with its remarkable features, has managed to withstand the test of time, but it has not escaped the inevitable damage that has been inflicted on it. Over the years, natural elements, such as flooding from the adjacent Nile River and human activities, namely stone quarrying, have taken their toll on the temple, causing significant deterioration. It is evident that young Dorothy had a vivid recollection of the temple during its prime, when its magnificence drew in worshippers from far and wide. Dorothy found herself captivated by the mystique of ancient Egypt. She would spend hours poring over pictures of the country, and would often find herself talking about it with anyone who would listen. What was even more peculiar was that she seemed to have vivid memories of visiting Egypt almost every night in her dreams. These dreams were filled with descriptions of stunning architecture, verdant landscapes, and the flowing waters of the Nile. As Dorothy grew older, her fascination with Egypt only intensified, and she found herself drawn deeper into the country's rich history and culture. During Sunday school, she was strongly inclined to compare the ancient Egyptian religion with Christianity, which was not well received by her teachers. Despite their objections, she persisted with her comparisons, which ultimately led to her expulsion. The breaking point occurred when Dorothy declined to recite a particular verse from Exodus 12:23. The verse in question asks the Lord to traverse through the land and strike down the Egyptians. The verse is controversial because it highlights the fact that the Lord would specifically target the Egyptians with the plague of the firstborn, while sparing the Israelites, who followed his instructions in the prescribed manner. Upon seeing an image of the mummified body of Seti I, Dorothy displayed unbridled excitement. She even asserted that she had a personal connection with Seti himself. Seti I was a prominent pharaoh who ruled over Egypt during the 19th dynasty from approximately 1290 to 1279 BC. During his reign, Seti I focused on restoring traditional Egyptian religious practices and temples that had been neglected in the past. He had a deep reverence for the Egyptian gods and aimed to reinforce their authority, while also maintaining the balance of Maat, which represented cosmic order and justice in ancient Egyptian beliefs. Despite the relatively short duration of his reign, Seti I left a significant impact on Egyptian history and culture that is still felt to this day. As she grew, Dorothy felt an innate urge to delve deeper into the rich history and culture of Egypt. She soon began exploring various educational avenues to satiate her thirst for knowledge. Dorothy was fascinated with hieroglyphics and would spend hours sketching them. However, she struggled with remembering their true meaning and yearned to learn more. Fortunately, fate intervened, and 4 years later she had the opportunity to meet the renowned Egyptologist E.A. Wallace Budge during a chance encounter at the British Museum. Impressed with her knowledge of ancient Egypt, Budge kindly offered to teach her the art of hieroglyphics. Over the next 2 years, Dorothy spent as much time as she could at the museum, soaking up Budge's teachings and honing her skills. Sadly, her studies were cut short by the outbreak of the First World War, forcing her to leave London and put a temporary pause on her passion for the ancient writing. Budge meticulously recorded his encounters with Eady and the fascinating claims she made. He was captivated by Eady's profound understanding of ancient Egypt and her remarkable ability to recognize and offer profound insights into Egyptian artifacts and sites. For the next few years, Dorothy lived in Sussex with her grandmother, Caroline Mary Bumby. During her stay, she immersed herself in the study of Egypt, spending countless hours at the local library in Eastbourne. Her curiosity and passion for the subject led her on a journey of discovery that would shape her future in ways she could never have imagined. In addition to immersing herself in dedicated study groups that focused on Egyptian religion, spirituality, and reincarnation, she avidly sought out any opportunity to learn more about this fascinating country. When Dorothy was just 15 years old, she started experiencing strange visitations from the mummy of Seti. Although it was only his astral body, or ark, that appeared to her, the encounters were quite graphic. Understandably, her parents grew increasingly worried about her behavior, and she was admitted to a mental hospital for observation several times. However, doctors found no cause for concern, and she was discharged each time. In ancient Egypt mythology, the term Akh carries great significance as it refers to the concept of the affective spirit or the transfigured spirit. It is considered to be the unique aspect of the soul that continues to exist even after death. In ancient Egypt, the Akh was regarded as an essential component of the soul that transcended the realm of the gods after death. It is believed that upon reaching the divine realm, the Akh unites with the Ba, which represents the individual's character and personality, and the Ka, which signifies the vital essence and life force. This merger of the three elements creates a unified and everlasting soul that endures beyond physical death. After completing her schooling, Dorothy stumbled upon a job posting for a magazine that specialized in ancient Egyptian religion. Intrigued by the opportunity, she decided to seize it and started dedicating all her time to delving deep into the pharaonic age of ancient Egypt. Her passion for the subject matter was evident in her tireless study and exploration of the culture and history of this ancient civilization. Dorothy's love story began when she met an Egyptian man, Imam Abd el-Meguid, at the magazine offices. Despite their different backgrounds, the two quickly fell in love, and before long they decided to get married. Dorothy embraced her new life with her Egyptian husband and took on the name Bulbul Abd el-Meguid as a symbol of their union. After years of yearning for her homeland, Dorothy's long-awaited dream of returning home finally came true in 1933 when she and her husband relocated to Cairo. A year later, the couple was blessed with their first child, and Dorothy insisted on naming him Seti after the deity who had captured her heart since her younger days. The joy of having a child and being able to raise him in the land she held dear was an overwhelming feeling for Dorothy. Despite living in her ancestral homeland of Egypt, marrying a local man, and even having a child of her own, the thoughts of Seti and his temple continued to haunt her. Her unrelenting fascination with the topic became a source of tension between her and her husband's family, ultimately leading to the breakdown of their marriage. Abdel's father would later recall witnessing a remarkable incident when he saw a pharaoh humbly kneeling at the foot of Dorothy's bed. This event left a lasting impression on him and was often recounted as a significant moment in his life. Dorothy, who had spent almost 2 decades in the bustling city of Cairo, decided to relocate to Abydos, a historic Egyptian archaeological site situated in Upper Egypt. Located approximately 11 kilometers to the west of the Nile, Abydos was once a significant religious and pilgrimage center. The site is renowned for its impressive temples, elaborate burial sites, and grand religious festivals. But, more importantly, this place held great significance to Dorothy, as it was once the ancestral land of Pharaoh Seti. Upon her arrival at Abydos, Dorothy underwent a transformation and adopted the name Omm Sety, which translates to Mother of Sety. As she settled into her new surroundings, Dorothy began to encounter trance-like states and frequently found herself writing down messages that were communicated to her by a spirit guide called Hor-Ra, who was represented as having the head of a falcon. The notes were written in demotic script, a form of writing that she claimed she could not write unless in a trance state. They revealed secrets about her past life in ancient Egypt, providing intriguing details such as her name during that time, Bentreshit, which means harp of joy. In ancient Egyptian mythology, Hor-Ra, also known as Ra-Harakti, was a significant deity. The name Hor-Ra is a combination of two Egyptian words, Hor, meaning the one who is above, or the distant one, while Ra refers to the sun god Ra. This combination signified the divine power and authority of Hor-Ra in Egyptian mythology. Dorothy's passion for ancient Egyptian history and her extensive knowledge in the field landed her a job in the Antiquities Department. Her remarkable ability to guide archaeologists in the right direction during excavations was highly valued by her colleagues. Despite being perceived as somewhat eccentric, Dorothy's unique insights and deep understanding of the subject matter proved to be immensely beneficial to her fellow Egyptologists. Dorothy spent countless hours putting her thoughts and memories on paper. She filled around 70 pages with riveting stories that she claimed were based on her past life in Egypt, dating back thousands of years. Despite the skepticism of those around her, Omm remained convinced of the authenticity of her tales and continued to write with fervor. Based on the available notes, Bentreshit was the daughter of an Egyptian soldier, but unfortunately her mother passed away when she was only 3 years old. As a result, Bentreshit was taken in by the Kom el Sultan Temple, located in the north of Abydos. She grew up there and eventually became a young priestess of the goddess Isis. She served as a priestess until the age of 14, when her life took an unexpected turn. Bentreshit became pregnant with Pharaoh Seti's child, which caused a scandalous situation, and she lost her position as a priestess for breaking the vows that prohibited intimate relations. Fearing the wrath of Isis, she took her own life, leaving the Pharaoh Seti heartbroken and devastated. In the aftermath of her death, Seti made a solemn vow never to forget her and to honor her memory forever. He seemed to have kept his promise. Omm Sety claimed to have regular meetings with an ancient Egyptian pharaoh. During these meetings, Omm Sety would ask Seti a range of questions, including about the existence of Atlantis. Omm Sety's diary entry, dated July the 29th, 1972, recounts an interesting anecdote shared by the pharaoh. Seti relayed that a sailor from Crete had once told him about the lost land of Atlantis. According to the sailor, it is believed that the Mediterranean Sea was previously a large land mass that eventually became submerged under its waters. It is said that only the mountain peaks of this lost continent remain, which now make up the present-day Greek islands in the Aegean Sea. The legend of Atlantis has been passed down through generations, with many still searching for evidence of its existence today. Some believe that the Aegean Sea could be the location, as Seti had suggested. During a meeting with the pharaoh on August the 29th, 1974, Omm Sety was engaged in a conversation about extraterrestrial life. Seti I told her of a tradition that the wise men of their ancestors passed on, which suggested that there were many worlds of varying sizes. He then proceeded to recount some of his incredible journeys through these planets. According to the monarch's account, a considerable number of planets are inhabited by humanoids. This information is quite intriguing, as it aligns with the concept that many ancient myths have suggested that the gods created human beings in their own image. One of the most renowned accounts of this myth can be found in the Sumerian texts. According to their belief, the creation of mankind was a result of genetic engineering carried out by a highly advanced extraterrestrial race known as the Anunnaki, who are said to have descended from the heavens. The account sheds light on the possibility that we are not alone in this vast and mysterious cosmos. The pharaoh's description of one planet in particular was genuinely remarkable. He spoke of a city that was unlike anything he had ever seen before. The streets were wide and spacious, and the buildings were made of shining metal. The pharaoh described seeing strange objects with windows and seats inside, yet they had neither wings nor wheels. During the 1950s, a renowned archaeologist named Dr. Selim Hassan conducted a series of excavations at the Abydos temple complex. Having heard about Omm Sety, he decided to test her knowledge of the Abydos wall reliefs. To his amazement, he discovered that she had an incredible ability to recall even the most minute details of the reliefs, even in complete darkness. What's more, some of the paintings she remembered had yet to be published. This remarkable feat left Dr. Hassan astonished and impressed with her skills. Later, Dorothy also developed close relationships with several other renowned Egyptologists of the time, each of whom took advantage of her extensive knowledge of ancient Egypt. Despite her rigorous research, she never let go of her conviction that she was a reincarnated priestess. This unwavering belief fueled her passion for the subject and inspired her to continue her quest for knowledge and understanding. Dorothy lived in a traditional mud hut at Abydos, where she adapted to life in the community remarkably well. However, her peculiar habit of using magic spells on cobras earned her a reputation as a sorceress or witch-like figure among the locals. Despite this, Omm Sety was known as a friendly, outgoing, and incredibly knowledgeable woman who was highly sought after by tourists and visiting scholars. Her extensive knowledge of the local culture and history made her an invaluable resource for anyone seeking to learn about the region. Dorothy's extraordinary story took a strange turn when she joined a team of archaeologists on a quest to discover the elusive garden of the temple where she had once lived. Her exceptional ability to navigate accurately through the ruins and her insight into a previously unknown entrance tunnel in the northern part of the temple puzzled the archaeologists. According to Dorothy, she remembered these details from her past life when she lived at the temple as a young teenager. Dorothy played a crucial role in enabling various discoveries, one of the most noteworthy ones taking place in 2005, when Otto Scharden and his team discovered tomb KV63 in the Valley of the Kings. The valuable information that led to this discovery was obtained from Omm Sety's writings, which proved to be of immense importance to the researchers. Despite years of research and excavation, the true identity of the occupant remains unknown, piquing the curiosity of historians and archaeologists about the secrets that lie within this ancient burial site. Nevertheless, thanks to Dorothy's contributions, the world has been able to unearth some of the most fascinating and significant archaeological treasures that would have otherwise remained concealed. Dorothy Eady spent the remainder of her life at the Temple of Abydos, where she firmly believed that she was the reincarnation of Bentreshit. She never wavered in her conviction even until her death in 1981 at the age of 77. To honor her wishes, she was buried in the temple cemetery, hoping to reconnect with her former companions in the afterlife's halls of Amenti. Before her death, Dorothy said, "I had only one aim in life, and that was to go to Abydos, to live in Abydos, and to be buried in Abydos." After her death, John Anthony West expressed his profound admiration for her by stating that he would trust her word over any advanced technological equipment. his sentiment was met with agreement from others, emphasizing the respect and trust that she had garnered from those who knew her. Renowned scholars in the academic community, including Kent Weeks, James Allen, Kenneth Kitchen, William Murnane, and Donald Redford, have publicly expressed their high regard for her exceptional work in the field. According to renowned scientist Carl Sagan, Dorothy was a dynamic and brilliant individual who displayed a deep commitment to the field of Egyptology. Her intelligence, dedication, and passion for her work were evident in all that she did, making her an invaluable asset to the world of Egyptology. The story of Dorothy Eady is a narrative that has piqued the interest of many. It urges us to explore the notion of whether the soul or consciousness can genuinely undergo a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth in distinct physical bodies or forms. The belief that a person can be reborn into another body after death is embraced by several faiths, such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and certain schools of New Age spirituality. According to the philosophy of reincarnation, the present life of an individual is believed to be influenced by their actions and decisions in previous lives, which is referred to as karma. It is believed that one's experiences and circumstances in life are shaped by this karma, and individuals evolve and progress spiritually through multiple lifetimes. The aim is to attain spiritual liberation or enlightenment, with each life serving as an opportunity to learn, grow, and achieve this goal. It is not uncommon for young children to share stories of past lives. However, in the case of Dorothy Eady, her story is more extraordinary and difficult to dismiss. Despite being raised in an English-speaking family, she displayed an uncanny ability to write in hieroglyphics with incredible skill and accuracy. Furthermore, she was able to lead well-educated researchers to undisclosed locations and reveal details of a life that were virtually unknown to anyone alive today. With her extensive knowledge of a long-gone civilization, she earned the respect of renowned Egyptologists. They highly valued her vivid recollections and eagerly used her memories to recover precious artifacts that had been lost for millennia. Dorothy had the extraordinary ability to recall detailed information about ancient Egypt that seemed to be beyond the scope of ordinary humans. The unexplainable nature of her abilities has captured the attention of many and continues to spark intrigue and curiosity. Some speculate that she truly was a reincarnated soul, while others believe that she used mysterious means to gain this knowledge. In her pursuit of knowledge, Omm Sety often engaged in meditation and trance-like states, during which she claimed to have received visions and insights into her past life. It is possible that these altered states of consciousness allowed her to tap into her subconscious mind or connect with spiritual realms, leading her to profound experiences and extensive knowledge of ancient Egypt. The concept of past life knowledge transferring through DNA has intrigued many scientists and researchers. Despite significant advancements in genetics, there are still many unanswered questions about how genetic information is passed on between generations. Many experts believe that ancient memories are embedded within the genetic pool of human existence, with some saying that these memories could be waiting to be uncovered. The implications of such discoveries could be groundbreaking, shedding light on the mysteries of our past and unlocking new insights into the nature of human consciousness. The way Dorothy interacted with Pharaoh Sety raises the possibility that consciousness exists beyond the confines of our physical brains. This notion implies that it might be feasible for our consciousness to connect with others, resulting in direct interaction. While you mull over these theories, allow us to share with you 4 secrets bestowed upon Omm Sety by the Pharaoh Sety, whom she deeply revered and referred to as His Majesty. 1. A well-hidden and secret vault is located beneath the Temple of Seti at Abydos. This vault is said to be home to an extensive collection of historical texts, numbering in the thousands. The contents of these texts hold great significance, as they might potentially unveil the true and accurate history of ancient Egypt, a history that has remained a mystery for centuries. 2. In front of the temple stands the Osirian. According to Dorothy, this structure predated the reign of Seti and was constructed during the era when the divine entities held sway over ancient Egypt. Many agree with this idea, since the Osirian bears no resemblance to the Temple of Seti and is devoid of hieroglyphics. 3. According to Dorothy, the Great Sphinx of Giza was created long before the reign of Khafre, and it was initially carved in the likeness of the ancient Egyptian god Osiris. Although initially considered far-fetched, the theory is now gaining traction due to unusual erosion marks, which seem to have formed during a period of rainfall in the Sahara Desert. Number 4 concerns the location of Queen Nefertiti's tomb. According to an account given by Dorothy, Seti I once revealed to her the location of the tomb. However, when she expressed her desire to excavate it, Seti strictly forbade her from doing so, stating that the family wished to keep their secrets hidden. Nevertheless, Seti I did disclose the location of the tomb to her, revealing that it is situated in the Valley of the Kings, close to the Tutankhamun tomb, but in a spot that is unlikely to be searched. If these claims are proven to be accurate, someone will have to explain how she acquired knowledge of such information. Dorothy's story is often regarded as one of the most compelling examples of reincarnation. Although some have dismissed her accounts as the ravings of a troubled mind, her depictions of ancient monuments, reliefs, and artifacts were consistently validated by archaeological discoveries. This reinforces the notion that her recollections of a past life may have been genuine, and that the universe's mysteries are far more complex than we can comprehend. Her tale continues to spark lively discussions among those who are drawn to the mysteries of the ancient world. As for the Temple of Seti I, it has been the subject of extensive restoration efforts aimed at preserving and protecting its historical significance. As a result, visitors can now explore the temple and marvel at its impressive architectural features. All in all, the Temple of Seti I is a true wonder of the ancient world and a must-visit destination for anyone interested in history and architecture.